St. Anne's Avenue was quiet of late. Maybe it be the rumours, or maybe it be the chill that rested on the hollow the town was built on. Whatever the reason, teeth were chattering and bodies clenched tight to try and hold on to the final remains of heat that their bodies clung to. Rural Kerry was no place for the weak of heart, nor weak of body, that's for sure. Father of the family, my family, Tommy Joe T.J. John McDonough, ran his family like a soldier's battalion, and he ran it well. Worked from dawn until dusk, as long as weather allowed it, day in, day out. Farming life was the life of a hard man, a man of steel. He was raised such a way, and likewise so would his son be. He believed when he was too old and almost forgotten, the son James would take the farm by its reins and once more hold it steady in the family name. Father didn't know of my deepest desires and plans to move away and study. The very idea he scoffed at. He almost choked on his bread when Nancy, Mum, merely mentioned the idea of her son bettering himself away from a life of labour and back-breaking farm work. A swift smack at the back of his hand to her soft cheek surely quieted Mam and any further talk of James leaving or the farm being sold when they got too old. With a swollen cheek, Mam comforted herself as she cried, and the rest attended their daily chores. My chores finished early. I'd hidden behind round bales of hay and read stories to my little sister. She was the apple of my eye and the reason that at 17 I hadn't left already. Leaving her tore my heart to pieces, and I knew soon the day would come. James, what are the rumours of the caller of death? The Dullahan, my friend Mary called him. Can you tell me more, please, brother? Please, I won't tell Mom. Okay, I whispered in a lower voice. The Dullahan are an ancient folk, not like the Banshee or the Fae. They are far, far older. The Dullahan come to reap a soul and take whomever they choose whenever they want. They say to look into the eyes of the head he carries is like gazing into hell itself. Oh, they are to be feared, and one cannot run, nor can one hide. The Dullahan is headless, but the head he holds in his hand sees all in this world and many other worlds unknown to us, or so the tales go. He has many weapons, but his favourite is that of a whip made of a human spine and wrapped in the skin of human to form leather. He will whip you twice, leaving an X on your face, before calling your full name, forcing your soul to exit its body and to follow him and his stallion on which he rides to the underworld. Lily's lip began to quiver, and tears built up in her eyes. The rumours, she mumbled. Yeah, that's why they closed Mark's coffin, because of the X on his face, and how he died so suddenly. The rumours of the man on horseback who screamed his name before he died. It all makes sense now, Lily cried, silently as possible. Hush, hush, I comforted her. They're just stories and people spreading panic and fear. Don't you worry one bit. Oh, I've got you, sis. No demon could ever separate us. You know that. Lily forced a smile through teary eyes. And hand in hand we made our way home as work was done and night had fallen quickly. In the distance near the farmhouse, an orange glow and smoke let us both know instantly. Fire! We screamed. We sprinted towards the house, and upon reaching there, my mum wrapped her arms around me. Oh, I tried to stop him, son. I'm sorry. I really tried to stop him. She roared over the crackling flames. I looked down to see a pit of every book I'd ever owned. Every leaflet of colleges up and down the country. Anything and everything I ever had an interest in outside that farm, my father had burnt in a fire pit, including my wooden box of savings from the last few years of work. Any inkling of a life away from this plane was quickly turning to ash and leaving on the breeze. The anger built and grew in every fibre of my body. Me, now twice the size and man my father had ever been, and capable of crushing him easily with a simple few blows of my fist. Mom, seeing the anger brew within me, pleaded me not to, but my father, fueled by whiskey, pleaded for a row. I was not the man my father wanted me to be, and I would not imitate his actions. Never. I took my sister by the hand and headed into the darkness, leaving them both screaming and fighting in the dark. His calls for a fight becoming an echo as we walked away. I'd grown tired of my mother's unwillingness to leave and instead stay and be his punching bag after my years of pleading and begging her. My anger now even grew like a mold, spreading from my father to my mother, encasing them both with the same sickness I felt for each now. Within the fog and darkness, they could not see where Lily and I silently made our way to the barn in the second acre, just far enough to be safe until morning, when all would be sober. Sadly, this was not our first camp out, and we had blankets and snacks ready for a night just like this. After a steady munch, I began to drift into sleep, when Lily pushed me awake. From where we lay, the doorway gave us perfect views. There, sitting on a large, dark stallion, was a man. The moon behind him, so shadows only barely helped emphasize his silhouette. My sister held her breath in fear. The smell of leather and sweating equine filled my nostrils. That and the occasional rustle of steel on leather stirrups. I searched for a head that I could not find. Just a collar, I think, a scarf and other items found around one's neck. I was shocked when I found it. It wasn't where it belonged. Resting in his left hand, its eyes staring directly into mine, lay the head of the Dullahan. I scuttled back on my hands and feet as the horse too raised its head to glare at me. Its burning red eyes, I swear, burned holes into my very soul. I watched in utter horror and disbelief as the sound of something unrolled and broke the silence. I realized now his whip lay by his side, and with a single kick he moved his beast and himself towards my house. Finally, I heard Lily whimper and let out a cry. It's him, it's the Dullahan, the caller of death. I hushed her as best I could, and made my way out of the barn doors and ran towards the house. Almost blindly, as the fog had rolled in and taken sight from everyone and everything. I finally reached my house. I was already too late. My mom, for some reason, weeping on my dad's behalf, on her knees, as she pleaded with the Dullahan not to take him. The speaking head in the ancient beast's hand glanced at me with a look that came from hell itself. My father stumbled towards the Dullahan as he played almost joyfully with his whip of human bone and leather. In an instant, two sounds rang out, and an X, at least 2 inches deep, lay perfectly across my father's face. The Dullahan then pointed the eyes of his carried, decapitated head towards my father. It cleared its throat as it spoke to Tommy Joe John McDonough. Your soul now must follow me. I hope for your sake to not have to visit this land once more. And with that my father collapsed and died, and the Dullahan was gone. 3 months have passed since the events that plagued our small village. Unfortunately, Lily saw far more than I wished, but somehow it made her stronger. A brief sit-down among ourselves let us all delve into our perspectives and understand each other's knowledge and point of view. We grieved and cried together, still a family, thank God. It helped us all understand each other better and to put this story together bit by bit from all the angles. This in turn helped me write to the best of my ability everyone's perspective and story as best I could. Lily intends to go to college when she's old enough and become a teacher, which fills my heart with joy. Mum has been up and down since Dad departed, as she puts it. But to be honest, once the farm is sold, which won't be long, her life will be much improved. She just doesn't realize it yet. All she knew was pain and suffering and grief at his hands, so I'm sure her happiness will come. Well, she has Lily and I to help her find it. And you're probably wondering about me. My dreams might have been burnt in a pit that night, but I kept many stored up here in this brain of mine, and one day you may very well hear or very well call upon the practice or nurses of Dr. James McDonough. Well, that's what the future holds, I hope, and I imagine soon I will get there. Please God, keep your eyes on the papers and watch out for my name, as I'm sure it'll appear one day. And as for the Dullahan, keep your eyes wide and ears peeled for the sound of steel horseshoe on cobble, as it could never be mistaken. Never be the reason he, like a hound from hell, comes calling your name. Live your life and live it well, and that alone may keep the sound of horseshoes distant. Far too distant to ever be coming to a town near you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this story today. Really means a lot to me and to the author of the story, of course. Well, if you want to know more about me, I'm pretty much everywhere on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can download my music on SoundCloud. I've got a Patreon if you feel like. Throw me $1 or two. Very much appreciated. And of course, on Reddit, I have a place where you can leave stories if you want me to read one that you've written. Well, hoping to see you all again very soon. Till then, sweet dreams, and bye-bye.